Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Build Exclusively with Antonio T. Smith Jr. Glad to have each and every one of you on the call today. Whether you're listening right now, whether you're going to listen to whether you listen to the replay, we are excited to have you here. And it's about to go down, okay? Because Mr. T. Smith Jr. yesterday was giving us the breakdown of RhinoLeg and all things RhinoLeg and all the different parts of it. And I'm thinking he hadn't scratched the surface yet, okay? So with us, and so I'm just excited about it. And you should be too. So, Dee Marie, you sound like you look like you got something you want to say, okay?
No, I've just been going over everything that RhinoLeg is about and everything that's within RhinoLeg, and it is a beast.
Wow. Yeah.
I won't I'm looking. You know how that new game is about to come out? And you have that anticipation of, man, I can't wait to get it. Man, I can't wait to. That's how I feel about RhinoLeg. Like a kid waiting for the new video game to drop.
And you know it's coming, yeah.
And I know it's coming. It's like, you know how the closer you get to a day, the more anxious you start getting. That's how I feel. Like, I'm like, okay, can I play with it now?
Oh, man. All right. What Dee Marie is excited. I'm excited. We're all excited. Yes. So many things. Okay. Now, I was about to be Baptist and say so many wonderful things. That's a song. Don't do it. All right. I'm about to hand it over to our illustrious founder and CEO of Density 6, Antonio T. Smith Jr. LLC, ATSKR Companies, and many others. All the way from G-Town, Galveston, Texas, the millionaire and billionaire maker, innovator, and creator, Mr. Antonio T. Smith Jr.
All right, welcome everybody. Thank you so much. We won't have a meeting tomorrow as we will be on a private meeting, but then we'll pick back up Thursday. I want to do a big business strategy with AI today. And I want to go into detail on that on a smaller scale or more microscoped scale, more micronomics and macro. I want to do that. And I heard some of what y'all were talking about. Yeah, RhinoLeg is pretty cool. So I'll tell you some more about, maybe we can do that. Do y'all want to?
Wait a minute. Don't do that. Don't do that, sir.
I'm sorry. RhinoLeg is the biggest thing in the world and the greatest thing I've ever done in my life.
Don't be humble. He'd be like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Really? Do you have a title?
No, I just did it.
That's what
I
was.
Big business or whatever.
Deanna, touche.
Yeah.
Get him, girl. Get him.
I said something big business with AI or something international. My mindset is on international, but I'm trying to make it relevant for everybody on the call. Everybody's not trying to be international, but I'm not sure. I really don't know what I said anymore. Yeah, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. That's what women do. Y'all fix me.
Mr. Smith, didn't you say that the tide raises all ships?
All ships.
So it don't matter whether you're international or not. Your ship gonna get raised, and that's all that matters. Hello.
International and big business with AI, then, Grace, because that's what we're working on today. Donya doesn't mind. Doesn't mind at all. Doesn't mind at all. All right, Grace. Let's see. Hold on. So let's start. Okay, let's start with a few things. Let's start with getting yourself somewhere that's helpful. All of you should be, well, I don't want to tell you this, but I'll do it anyway. All of you should be thinking of a new way to do an old thing. Phil and Susan talk about disruption a lot. That's what that is. Finding a new way to do an old thing. You don't need to invent something, Grace, but you need to be finding a new way to do an old thing. Grace, let's think about that for a moment. What if you can find a new way to do sales to where people like you wouldn't struggle?
Listen, okay, it would be very, very great, because, you have to go out and find your target audience. But then when you do find them, now you got to call them, okay? Because they don't know you. And you have to go through the numbers. And you have to make sure you have, a short phone pitch. So the point on the phone call is not to get the sale. The point of the phone call is to schedule the appointment. And so you've got to get them on the phone at first. And then you got to get them interested and listening. It's something, one or two words that has to spark them who says, okay, yeah, I want to listen to this. I want to listen to a little bit more. And you have to figure out what that is. Oh my goodness. I've always wanted for a script, okay? So it would be very great.
It would be. It absolutely would be. Wouldn't it? It would be nice. It would be nice if we can pull all it off. So, Grace, how many times have you thought about that? How many times have you put energy and effort in what you just said?
I think about that every time I got to make a phone call.
Okay. Now, the next logical question is obviously, how many times have you moved forward with that?
That I just make phone calls and just kept going. Just make phone calls.
All right, you ain't. That says everybody on this call. Grace says everybody on this call. Let's not get it twisted. Everybody on this call is doing the same thing, and that's not that's not a shot at nothing. Everybody's doing a good job. I don't mean to imply that you're not, but it is something to think about. It is something to think about when we understand that we need to be doing a new thing an old way, other way around, an old thing a new way, but we have not done so yet. Just because we have not done so yet, just because we haven't convinced ourselves that we deserve to be millionaires or whatever it is. You ask people why you're not a millionaire, most people are going to tell you, I never really thought about it.
That's true though. That's true though, for real.
Yeah. Yeah, I never really thought about it.
And that was the reason why I haven't moved on what I just said, because I never really thought about it. I
know. You could be inventing the new sales model and nobody knows. Nobody knows. I could tell you, you're the subject matter expert. Between you and Monica, if y'all doing it every day, and if the only way you eat is to sell, and then Monica has like regions of the world, Monica is in charge of land on earth to sell. I think she's over like United States. That's a whole continent. Well, not the United States, but North America. That's a whole continent. That's a whole US and Canada. So she's over 66% of a continent. How is she not a subject matter expert?
Right.
I mean, think about that for a moment. So you need to be figuring out a new way to do old things. When your law of attraction has you over continents of people who can't even travel out the city.
Watch them.
So there you go. And that's just because Mexico either has somebody else assigned or they just haven't deemed Mexico was strong enough internet speeds to have their product. Whatever that may be, or something else in between I'm not thinking of, that's powerful. And you should be doing that. All right, so that's it. And I'll discuss what I did with RhinoLeg. I'm not really interested in going like I did yesterday, but we'll do one. We'll do one. I'll let you pick. Yeah, I know which one you want to do. We'll do one, but I'll tell you what I did. I used every baby boomer in this call. I thought about all of y'all. I used Grace, who is great at sales, terrible at lead generation. Oh, you should be taking notes now. Yeah. Great at sales, terrible at lead generation. I used Monica. I've always told my crew knows this, but I always write books thinking about like 8 people. So I did the same thing with building the thing. I use Monica, who, if she loses 5 houses. So now that changes things a little bit, doesn't it? That changes things around. So it's not just for people who can't do it. It's for people who, if they don't do it, they're publicly embarrassed, shunned from their community. They miss their lifestyle. And how many of you understand? Once you get to a certain lifestyle, don't you? Losing that is not an option. That's what keep y'all at jobs long. For those of you in the audio, I was just looking around, seeing when somebody was going to say something, because I know what I see, man. You know, yeah. That's what keeps you.
Amen.
I was gonna ask, can you say that one more time, please?
When you gain a certain lifestyle and you're afraid to lose it, that's what keep y'all at jobs longer than what you should be.
Watch it.
So I built it with that in mind. And let me just say that right here. I never. Now this is what I'm about to say is very difficult. It's unfair, Jerome. It's actually nobody is going to disagree with it. It's common sense. It's going to have that ring of truth where you know your soul knows, yep, that was right, but you didn't grow up in a trash can. Therefore, I have an unfair advantage. So we're going to call that unfair advantage out right now, don't you? I have a very unfair advantage because my mindset is can't do nothing worse. And that is an unfair advantage. But I never make decisions based on money or quality of life. And let me tell you what I mean by this. If I need to, I'm going to use a real example. If I need to restructure the company because I see the future coming, AI, but I didn't see it coming in 2023. I thought it was, 2040. And I know that there is a recession coming. So this is 2018 talk. And I need to fix that. I need to do something. So I dropped our prices first. And in 2019, I just killed them all. So from 2019 to 2023, there's been no income generated. That's pretty rock solid, Jerome. That's pretty tough. And that's pretty tough. But it took me that long to accomplish what we accomplished today. If I made that decision based on money or quality of life, I never would have did it. Did I just? Okay. Uh-oh. So I see what I did there? If I made that decision based on money or quality of life, I never would have did it. So I don't make any decisions based on money or quality of life, because for me, that's slavery. For me, and again, Grace, I have an unfair advantage. I did say this, like I have an unfair advantage, but nobody's going to disagree with what I'm saying, because your soul will know, and it will have that ring of truth. So for me, it's slavery to depend on an employer more than I depend on my dreams. That's slavery to me. Slavery. I'm all for keeping your day job until your day job pays for your side job, which is your dreams. I'm not telling nobody to quit or retire or something. But when I use the word depend, it's weighted, Grace. It is, I better not. Let me just be here for another 10 years. Uh-oh. Let me just stay in this apartment with all these roaches that I'm not putting in. It's the next door neighbor.
Antonio,
Come on.
in my humble opinion,
Uh-huh.
and I say it humbly, your unfair advantage is this. and some may agree with, some may disagree with this. That trash can forced you, that trash can compelled you to succeed.
Mhm.
And you didn't just step outside and was successful. You had the trip and fall and blah, 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 and maybe that. But when you finally succeeded, guess what you did? This is your unfair advantage. Most of us, when we finally succeed, guess what we do? We make sure we got things in place to make sure we don't fall again. You didn't do that.
Mm-mm.
You succeeded, and then you treated every venture moving forward as if you were still in the trash can.
That's right.
That's what you did. That's your unfair advantage, because most of us don't do that. Once we get out and successful, we go, shoot, I ain't gonna do that no more. You didn't do that. And that's why you were able to cut everything off and still be successful, because you made sure you treated every opportunity as if you were still in the trash can. And that's what you're doing right now with RhinoLeg. That's what you're doing right now with Arlingbrook. You're doing the exact same thing. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful, I can't speak for nobody else, is that you're not being selfish about it. You're bringing your friends with you. And I consider that a blessing, even though I can't stand your guts. Okay, that's your unfair.
No, that makes plenty of sense. You said something there. Phil actually said something very similar to that last night on Sorry I'm Streaming. You said something there. And since both of y'all said it, apparently God wants me to pay attention. So I receive it this time. I'm listening this time for sure. For sure. You said something in there that I really want to, like, I'm talking about big business, international business with AI. And the first thing I said was, like, we need to really invent a new way to do a whole thing. This is what we're talking about right now. And part of that, building a new way to do a whole thing, a major chunk of that, at least what I've decided in my storytelling here, is slavery by making decisions based on quality of life. The people who change the world risk their quality of life. The people who do not, do not. And I'm not telling you that I don't have an unfair advantage. I do. I said that up front, Grace, before I identified what I was going to say. Jerome just put it even better than me. But there's a ring of truth happening here, and your soul knows I'm not making this up. It's hard to disagree with what I'm saying because I'm speaking objectively. That every time anything ever came into your life law worth living, you risked your life for it. You can't even have a successful relationship, and I mean an intimate one. Intimate could mean anything, cousins. A romantic one, there we go. You can't even have a successful romantic relationship without risking your life. As soon as there's a disagreement happen, somebody got to die. I mean, die to your flesh before somebody actually die. You get what I'm doing there? I'm playing with these words, but it makes sense though. It's all right. Grace is mad. Adonia's mad. Let me kill my ego before she kill me. Now that's pretty accurate. Okay, maybe not for Adonia, but you get the point though. You know, she'll kill me with silence. She'll go cold turkey silence on me. And then I'll be trying to test the temperature.
That is my weapon. I will not talk to you, and you will already know there's an issue. I will not talk to you. That's my weapon.
Been messed up. So you just cook one meal, Adonia? That's it? Just cook one meal? So maybe she'll cook two, but she'll fix her plate. You know, wrap the rest of it foil and put it, you know, I gotta go work for it, Grace, you know. Don't make this, well, I can't tell you what to do. That's not what I'm trying to do here. But it's everything. I'm not on a rant. I literally have been talking about this one thing right now. You cannot, well, I said I won't do that either. Building RhinoLeg and this Arlingbrook, and I've risked my entire quality of life. There's a video, I have it on one of these hard drives that we with Ken. Chris is doing the camera. This was 2 or 3 years ago. And I tell everybody in Houston, I'm about to do the dumbest thing I've ever done. Then we were building a Ricasa. That was a Ricasa meeting. And I knew in that Ricasa meeting, I think we had like 4 more. I knew in that Ricasa meeting, I was going to kill Ricasa. I knew that then. I knew it in that meeting. In fact, one day I'm going to show it. One day I'm going to show it. I'm going to run that tape back, Gary V split screen style. I'm going to run it back. I'm going to run it back for sure. And I tell everybody, I'm about to risk everything. And some of y'all are going to leave. I did say this. I did. You won't understand. Hopefully you don't talk about me. You probably will. Y'all know how I am. You know, I do not mince my words. Ain't no sense in me playing with y'all. It's a room full of people. And everything I said happened. And I said, because success has a language. And it's not that you're going to be malicious towards me. It's just that what I'm saying right now, we have a language barrier. Because success has a language and you can't hear me. We have a language barrier. I knew then that if we didn't change immediately and go full tech, we were going to die. I've been telling y'all education time is almost up. I've been saying it ain't nothing new. I got videos on that. The internet is your last chance to be rich. I even wrote that in Sorry I'm Streaming. I forgot all about it. The sacred internet or something. I just heard Grace read that last night. It's all in there that the internet is quickly getting rid of education. I've even said so far that oratory teaching is so useless. It only exists in 2 places, the church and the seminar and college, because church and seminar and college are the same thing. I've even said that. I'm not telling you they're useless, Grace, because I think so. I'm telling they're useless because y'all think so. Because you watch TikTok and you go to YouTube and you go to ChatGPT. No. When you think about the way that you're actually learning, if Susan was to process all, and Susan has made 5 years worth of successful progression for humor consultants. I have no idea what Phil's doing, but Susan sends me emails. 5 years. And that did not come from a college. That did not come from a seminar. That did not come from sitting down with someone oratory talking. That came from ChatGPT or an interactive session like this or something. But the idea of letting someone talk while you be silent, church, seminar, college, is done. And it's been done. And that has nothing to do with artificial intelligence. That has everything to do with the internet. But again, you don't have to agree. I'm not asking you to agree. I'm just asking you how much of the quality of your life is stopping you from getting a better one. There's a scripture in the Torah that scares the hell out of me. There's 2 of them. There's 2 of them. 2 of them. 2 of them, Jerome. I don't even like talking about them. The first one, which has nothing to do with this particular conversation, so I'll do it quickly, is King Saul is fired, Jerome, but kept in his position. That scares me. Like, can you imagine? being the CEO of Trend Press, but you fired. Your anointing gone, and God is raising up another to take your spot. And all you doing is holding it together for that person. And why did King Saul get fired? Motives. Uh-oh. Can you imagine having such bad karma that you are relieved of your duties as a spouse, and God is raising up another spouse? You just in the position.
Watch it.
I said, this scares me. That's in the Torah. That's King Saul. What's relevant to this one happens very early in prehistory. Joseph of the Old Testament. And Joseph says, pretty lady. Potiphar's wife. Pretty lady, I can't sleep with you. My master has given me in charge of all this. Come on now. You don't know where I come from. I was homeless. Uh-oh. Point of connection with Antonio. My family left me for dead. Uh-oh. Point of connection with Antonio. No disrespect, but we're going to call him spade a spade. Oh, man. I had to learn how to eat and hustle. Okay. Point of Antonio. Okay. All right. And this man goes, I can't do it. Now, he is victimized, lied on, and loses all that prosperity. Goes 2 years of straight poverty in prison, but then becomes Pharaoh's number 2, which, just for shouting sakes, Jerome, the prison you in is more than likely beneath the palace you was born to be in. Rewind. Press play.
My God.
The prison you in is more than likely, okay, Tracy, that beneath the palace you was born to be in, because if it was Pharaoh's prison, Grace, it means it was also attached to Pharaoh's palace, wasn't it? Just so we clear, the prison and the palace are always attached. That was just for shouting purposes. I just wanted to put that in there so y'all can have something to take home, put on Twitter.
Prophet Jay gonna steal it.
Okay, they dropping sermons, dropping sermons.
Yes.
Dropping sermons off. What scares me about this though is Tracy, Antonio, no, he just slept with Potiphar's wife. See, y'all have a transparent problem. I don't have this problem. I ain't got this problem. I'm so wicked that I would have been like, hey, Deanna, here's the deal. We're going to lose everything. See, Deanna, unmute your mic. Please tell them if you're shocked by what I'm saying or if I would not have this actual conversation with you.
No, I'm not shocked.
As long as you know. See, y'all saved. I ain't got this problem. This is why I can control my wickedness, because I own my wickedness.
That's why you're a heathen.
It's also why I'm blessed, because I can control my wickedness because I own it. Y'all hide behind the scripture, not me. I know for sure if I came from homelessness, my brother sold me and I was left for dead, and now I got everything that I want, and all I got to do is give this lady what she wants, and ain't nobody gonna find out. So Tracy, I can get away with it. Ain't nobody gonna find out. I'd have settled. And that's Antonio's problem. Settling. So you hear a sin, it ain't the sin. It's my propensity to settle.
Set up
I'm
for
trying
Potiphar's
to-
house.
My
You set up for
God.
Potiphar's house. When
I'm-
you had the palace. Okay.
I would have never got the palace, Grace. Because I would have settled for Potiphar's house. And if you think I'm talking about scripture, no, I'm talking about, are you willing to risk the quality of your life? I'm still on subject. Are you somebody that will find a new way to do an old thing. And if you do that, you may risk what keeps you comfortable. I feel like I'm on point. Chef Jay.
Can I, in this space, just
Please,
right
please,
here, right?
please.
Right, like for real, in this space. So like, that is my attempt with the book, because I have to do something different. Although it's new, I still have to do it differently. Although it's old, I still have to do it differently.
Good.
So bringing the new from the old and bringing the old to the new, and they both have to overlap one another. So that wired system, that wiredness of looking in the past, saying, I'm supposed to be somewhere else. How do I get there? When? All that good stuff.
Yeah.
That is definitely my attempt.
So I'm glad you said that, because I'm gonna say the same thing I said, but this time I'm gonna say it in Christian talk. So I haven't been talking about Christianity, but I'm gonna say it in Christian talk. We're gonna say God and Satan. That's what we're gonna do. A lot of y'all gonna catch it now. Satan will keep you in comfort so you never go get your dreams.
Watch it.
Yes, ma'am. It made sense that time, didn't it, Jerome?
Okay, Prophet want you to repeat that, sir.
I sure will. They ought to go right after it. Satan will keep you in comfort so you never go get your dreams. Go ahead, Deanna.
So is it safe to assume that he will do what God would do? Like he would use where you put most of your energy to distract you or get to you. Like God uses today's tools to reach us. Does the devil
is much better, though. The devil's much better. The devil's much better. Now, if you're saying God did it, let's put it, the devil's people, the devil is far more craftier than giving his word than God. The people of God are still arguing in the church you grew up in, Deanna, over something that worked 3 generations ago. The devil then changed every 3 hours in your church.
Okay, thank you. Clarified something for me. Appreciate it.
Okay. Now, whether you believe in devil or not, that's not what I'm trying to do, but I'm putting it in language where everybody understands, Tracy. That's all I'm trying to do. All I'm trying to do is tell you that when you're afraid to lose your health insurance, we got to get personal now, Tracy. I got to get everybody now. I got to get everybody now.
Listen.
Got to get everybody
Your
now.
matching 401k.
Oh, Jerome.
Antonio.
Oh, yes. Let's keep it 100.
Let's keep it 100, Jerome. Yes, ma'am. Renee.
Antonio, I
That's
said,
your phone. Okay, Jerome went below the belt, y'all.
I mean, but you know what? It's straight up, because I was saying to Jay, because it's I did things the same way for years. What good did that do me? So I'm like, I don't have anything to lose. And I think sometimes you gotta be careful, because people can live lives of quiet desperation. They could be like, oh, I have all these, but then they're like, well, I gotta have this, I gotta have the ducks in a row and all that stuff. I said, man, forget that. You got one duck, roll with it. Okay. I'm realizing I don't have anything. I don't have anything to lose and everything to gain, because I refuse. I refuse to, these last few years of my 30s, I refuse to go into my 40s with the same stuff that I had the past 20 something years. It's time out for all of that foolishness. I'm not trying to have no, like, well, you need to have your good job, man. Bump that. That might have worked for my mom or my grandfather, but it ain't working for me. I gotta do something different. So I'm just like, been doing stuff the same way. You heard it. Go to school, get a good job, stay there. You know what I'm saying? 65 is that magical age. Man, I'm 37. That ain't gonna even exist by the time I'm 65, let alone probably by the time I'm 40. Who
Renee,
knows what it's gonna look like by the time I'm 40?
not only are you owning it, Renee,
I'm like, it's ridiculous.
it is.
I was taught to do certain things, but that world does not even exist anymore as of right now. It's been gone really, but I say as of right now, it's been gone. So I gotta do something that is outside the box, and that's what's gonna get me there.
Absolutely.
Because if I do stuff the same way, that's the definition of insanity. You thinking you're gonna do things the same way and get different results? That's insanity, yo.
I mean, if you
I
do
think I
stuff the
got some
same
more to
way
lose.
and they're not raising pay on this way you're doing stuff the same way, then
Hey, you're gonna make the same amount. I had jokes like that. I made the same amount no matter how long I was there. Man, bump that. That's not my worth. I'm done. I'm done.
no,
That's
I
why
completely understand.
I'm shifting my mindset and stuff to get out of this 9 to 5, because that's not where it's at. That's never really where it was at, but I just chose to put myself there because of what I was taught. Man, bump that. I'm doing something else.
No doubt. Renee, God has to be bigger than health insurance.
That's
Has
right.
to be.
We put God in a box, and that's not what God is. And
You
he
know,
ain't bipolar either.
and here's the deal, and I know you're gonna we forget I'm a disabled veteran, so now I don't want you to think now that I'm saying, oh, just go out there and die. That ain't what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying how much is, like, right now there's 5 people, not on this call, not now when I'm on this call, that wants to be with RhinoLeg as like marketers, this and this and that. Excited, but you know what's keeping them at their job? Health insurance. They had a job they don't like because of health insurance. And I'm not blaming you, because that's a government problem. For you to have to choose between your dreams and healthcare, that's a failure of your government. Just like remember when gas went up back in 2003 and it went back down? It hasn't. They lying. I mean, like right now it goes down to 250. Ooh, it's cheap. No. We've been conditioned. We have been conditioned. That is not cheap. We are bamboozled. We had to choose between healthcare and gas, because gas, for the first time ever in 2003, became a bill. It became part of your monthly bills. And we've been budgeting gas prices for so long now, it seems normal, but y'all just start doing it. I know, I was in the military when I did it. I know what did it. I know exactly what did it. We went after Saddam Hussein. He burnt all the oil fields. I don't know if that was like the biggest natural disaster, man-made natural disaster ever. And then he thought we was going to flood the beaches. And he put 6 billion gallons of oil a day on the. It took a decade just to clean it up. So I know what happened. I was part of the problem. I went over. I know what happened. And gas ain't never been the same since. And it has to be something that tells us maybe I can do this as much as I stay loyal to my quality of life. It's something called 100-hour rule. Anybody familiar with it? Okay. 100-hour rule. I've heard it before. I just saw somebody recently. It's a billionaire. What's his name? The billionaire do cocoa water, married to Spanx lady. He did hip hop back in the 80s. Can't remember his name right now, but he's
Ice-T?
no. It's just a white guy.
My bad.
And he owns a coconut water company. He used to be a rapper back in the 80s. That's a real 90s. That's a real thing. And he's the husband of the Spanx lady. I just can't remember her name or his name right now.
His name is Jesse Itzler.
Jesse Itzler is a billionaire. Yes. All right. And I saw him not too long ago talk about it too, but it's something that's been out. 100-hour rule said if you work on one thing for 18 minutes for the rest of the year, then you will be better than 95% of the human population at that thing within a year or after that year is over. And it's facts. Malcolm Gladwell, I think that's him, has a 10,000 hour rule. I don't think it's Malcolm. It could be Malcolm Gladwell. Now, if you work on something for 10,000 hours, you will master that thing. Both of these are true. Both of these make sense. I believe we have mastered our quality of life and not our dreams. I think we've applied the 100-hour rule and the 10,000 hour rule to being safe and not losing this job or something versus let me go to sleep an hour later and work on my dreams. Okay, go ahead, Grace.
Can you repeat the 100-hour rule if you work on
If you
one
work on
thing for
something
18 minutes?
18 minutes,
Mhm.
if you work on something for 18 minutes for the rest of the year, you'll be better than 95% of the world. That makes sense. If you work out for 18 minutes for the rest of the year, you will have a gorgeous body next year. It's the truth. It's the truth. There's power in being consistent. There's power in being consistent. So what are the solutions? I don't have none for you because there are no solutions.
Facts.
Yeah.
But
I don't have any.
stop.
Yeah, you won't stop. Consistency is it. I don't have any because there are no solutions. Because the solution is you. And what that solution looks like for Tracy is far different what it looks like for Adonia and far different what it looks like for Shelley. The solution is you. You are your own rescue, is what Lisa Nichols would say. The solution is you. Now, I'm not arguing for separatism. I don't desire that you leave your job. And if you need to stay for another year, stay. If you need to stay for another month, stay. Another 10 years, stay. That's not my argument here. But my argument is, are you giving your job more than you're giving your dreams? Because if not, then you're not going to build that thing or invest in that company because you're not matching the vibrational equivalent of it. The bottom line, you're vibrating that security. And in order to get income, you have to abandon security. I know they telling y'all something different. They are lying to you. Let me help all of you out. I don't think anybody else says this but me, but everybody else is lying. In order to get a lot of money, you must expend a lot of energy. And to expend a lot of energy, why? Because money is just energy, then that is risky. Now, clever people like Phil and Susan expend a lot of energy into a vehicle that can then multiply their energy 15,000 times. That's intelligent. Or you expend a lot of energy into an income producing asset to where it pays you every month. These things are different nuances of what I'm talking about. But in order for you to get anything worth living, Grace, that burning desire, it's also called burning energy. Anything you have, you must expend all of it. There's no multitasking. There's no balance. There's no, I'll do just a little bit of this. Let me do 10 things. Nope. You pick one and you go for bust or you're never going to make it. And as awful as that sounds, again, big U goes, you're right. Because I'm only speaking what is objective. So in order for you to do a new thing the old way, you're not going to think of it because you're on the toilet. And if you do, that's where your great ideas come from. Or you're riding down the highway in a car. Those two places. And if you do get it, that ain't good enough. Because me and Phil know ideas ain't worth nothing. You can literally get on this microphone right now, talk about your idea, your $1 million idea right now. 98% of people ain't gonna do nothing about it. The 2% of people too busy to steal your idea. So this idea, somebody gonna steal your idea, is trash. Anybody steal your idea? You took too long. The universe gave your idea to Adonia. And now you going, man, I was gonna do that. Well, universe likes speed. Universe likes to be alive. But I don't know what Renee has done since she had that breakthrough call about that video game comedy thingy. But if she ain't did nothing, she guilty now.
And I've been working on it.
Okay, good job. You get it? So she guilty now. I want to work on my little board game because I got inspired by her. Grayson guy was like, nope, not until you finish. And so it's a carrot dangling in front of my nose.
It's not a little game board.
It's not,
Oh,
but
okay,
still,
okay,
it's
yeah,
still a
okay.
carrot dangling in front of my nose, Jerome. Because one
tell me
thing at a
again.
time.
Tell me
You're
again,
right.
please.
One thing at a time. I wanna finish my Kofi South series. One thing at a time, Jerome. I don't deserve to sit down and write a book until I launch completely RhinoLeg and start that process. Yes.
That is so my issue. I go from, because I get ideas just from everything. And as soon as I get an idea, I go stop and go do that. And then I forget what I did, went to the other place, try to figure out where I left off. And then I go back to where got distracted and then forgot why I got distracted and why I did. Yeah, that's my life. Welcome to Adoniaville.
That was two curveballs I didn't see coming. Did I forget what I did? And then when I get over there, I got distracted and forgot why I got distracted. I didn't see either one of those curveballs coming. That sounds very accurate. I know a light-skinned girl with freckles and does the same thing. Go ahead, Grace.
All right. Now, you know me and Jerome, we like falling on swords. So listen, that's my buddy. Okay. Listen, you know what I got going on. Okay. Listen, let me tell you. Okay. Don't stop me now. Let me just. Okay. So, I got the website. I got the cart beside me. Those are really two things that are in my brain right now. And for sure, RhinoLeg is up top as soon as you say go. Okay. That's right there. So what I'm saying, because I keep hearing you say you got to focus on one thing. I'm not asking you, should I quit these things? I'm just trying to talk this out. So you got to focus on one thing, do it well, do it consistently so that you can win.
Yes.
All right. So again, I'm talking this out.
Before you talk it out, have you seen people focus on one thing and win before?
Yes.
And have you seen more than one person do that before?
Yes.
And what percentage of people who focus on one thing and win, to your best human experience, not the answer I want to hear or some implementation or indoctrination, your best human experience, what percentage of those people are living what you would call a successful life?
Oh, 100%.
And what percentage of that 100% are living what you would call a legendary life?
100% of them.
Well, then we got an issue before you even finish. Because you're asking a question knowing that if you do one thing, you have 100% chance of being successful and 100% chance of being legendary. And you still have this question.
I got you.
No, keep talking it up. Keep talking it up. Yeah, no, you just ouch. Keep talking it out. Keep talking it out.
Okay.
Okay, don't talk it out. Don't talk it out. Did you talk it out of your head?
I'm gonna keep wait. Okay, I'll keep talking it out.
Keep going.
Okay. Now, This corporatizing, that can be let go. That can. I have seen, but they only focus on that. That is they full time. That's what they do. Right. The other thing is, okay, I'm going to take you for example.
Okay.
You've got multiple companies,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but right now, you're focused on RhinoLeg. You're not focused on Antonio T. Jr. Let's say you're focused on 1076, right?
Not touring, no Assembly of Wanderers, no
Right.
books. Yeah,
Okay.
they're
Okay.
all in limbo.
But you keep them there.
Yes.
Okay. That's what I need to know. That's
Yeah.
all.
Okay. Well, what click did you just click in your head?
Okay. As when you say go on RhinoLeg is what I'm focusing on. Now, again, corporatizing can go by the wayside because you said really focus on stuff that only made you money. I hadn't made money in that yet. However, I hadn't been in it long enough, but that can go to the wayside. But the website, I have made money in, but it's not RhinoLeg money. I am gonna say that. But like you thought, hey, don't just have one stream of income, have multiple. However, websites are gonna be in limbo. Now, if somebody comes to me, let me tell you something, but don't you come to me and say, Grace, you know what, I need a website. Okay, let's talk. We don't pass up, okay? We don't pass up, buddy. However, RhinoLeg is gonna be the focus.
Okay. One, you should pass up money. Number one.
Okay,
Two, yes, that's a young cultural thing. We don't pass up money. And what it does, Adonia, is it highlights hustle. Because we've glorified hustle. Hustle ain't the law of attraction. Rewind, press play. You do not need to hustle to manifest. As a matter of fact, hustling is a very bad way to manifest. Just so we're clear.
gotcha.
You can have a hustle spirit. That's meaning two different things. But the idea of manipulation is not manifestation. The idea of working hard does not lend to receiving a lot. It doesn't. So that's number one. Number two, we had a similar conversation like this before, Grace. And I was like, well, Grace, I don't want to, I told everybody, this was like 3 weeks ago. And I was like, use your compass. And Tracy said something, and everybody was like, use your compass. And he was like, yep, I know what I'm gonna do. I know what I'm gonna do. And then I called you the next day. I had Grace down to call you the next day, and you was with your regional manager. You literally dissed that conversation and went with your regional manager. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that the universe sees, what's that word? Indecisiveness. And indecisiveness sits on the road to poverty. It's very early in the book, and it's very high on the list. Very. If you're going to do karmatology, do that. If you're going to move with Monica and have them put you in the garage because Monica's got her own life now and you ain't allowed to be there, do that. If you're going to move to Brazil and learn Portuguese without learning anything, total immersion, do that. Whatever you do is correct if you actually do it. Or you end up in Adoniaville, which is what she just coined it, and getting distracted in one thing and then you go to another one and get distracted from being over there, right? You don't want to do that. Even Adonia doesn't want to do Adoniaville-like things. And she's no longer doing them. Or at least she's not longer doing them as much as she did. Because she knows she's not going to be able to make her job a first client doing it. I have some practical advice for you, Grace. And this is the second time this year I have given unsolicited advice. I'm going to give it to you. You are someone who does not know how to take care of themselves. Anybody else on the phone like that? Anybody else? Don't lie to me now. If you take care of other people better than you take care of yourself, Okay, all right. Then. Come on. It's way more hands than that. It's
Maybe me.
maybe me. Get out of here, maybe me.
She take
You-
care of the whole.
you-
She take
the-
care of the whole HR department.
Yeah, you are the poster child. What are you talking about? Yes. If you're somebody who does not, if I got to call Adonia, did you eat? If I got to call Adonia,
So get out of my driveway. So
every last person here that just raised your hand or didn't want to raise your hand got to be reminded to eat.
Mind your business.
tell him again. Tell him again, Adonia. Okay. Okay. So what? I took care of my grandma better than I took care of me. Okay.
Okay. And I'm finna give you unsolicited advice. That is actually a good thing. It's not a bad thing. So get into a business and put your dreams to where you're serving others, because that's clearly where you got your best you at. And then force your business system to give you a percentage of all of that. And then the business system takes care of you while you still doing your taking care of others thing. Problem is solved.
Rewind, play.
Okay, it's literally 100% solved.
Yeah.
If you're like Adonia and Tracy, and all you do is take care of everybody else, that's not a bad thing. The world's going to tell you that's a bad thing, Tracy. I'm telling you that is a extra amount of love that only people like you and Susan have. That's fantastic. So spin your business to where you can do that all day, because you would do it for free, because you're doing it for free, for God's sake. But then have your business make you get kickbacks first. Not the infrastructure, not the marketing, not the people, you first.
Okay.
Whether it be 1%, 2%. Let me hold on. Oh, ye tithers, good job. But don't you tithe to God and not tithe to yourself.
Man, let me tell you something. Oh boy, every time I get paid and I pull that 10% out for God and I pull that 10% out for God, and it grows. I'm
Grows.
like, yeah.
And God go keep growing it, because now you're being a good steward with your money.
Yeah. And you feel different. You feel different. You know, I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
but you know what forced me to do that, Antonio?
What's
Can
that?
I tell you what forced me? You said this years ago that anybody who is with you, anybody that's associated with you, if they don't pay themselves, you ain't gonna have nothing to do with them.
No, you can't be.
I remembered that.
And
I went,
I didn't even remember, but I
that.
had the same spirit in me just now.
I remember that. I'm like, and I'm saying, he's saying that like our relationship matters if you ain't paying yourself. So I'm sitting there going, but I ain't paying myself. Well, then you need to do something about that.
You do something about that? You need to do something about that?
It feels, Antonio, I don't know how to describe it, but it feels.
Yeah. No, you bring up a very good point that's covered in so many books. If Tracy refuses to pay herself first, now you pay God first, pay yourself first is like it's like tied for first. Okay. It's like Harvard, Princeton, Yale. They're all number one. Everybody else is fighting for number 4. So that's what we're talking about. But paying yourself first, paying God first, bam. They're not interchangeable. You must do both at the same time. You must. Because it's not both. It's not both. It's one. When you give to God, you give to yourself. And that's all in your text now. That's all in your text. And if you don't do that, I want nothing to do with you. I want nothing to do with you. There's a few reasons here. For one, well, let me give you the most important reason first. The most important reason first is I only want to be around lucky people. And lucky people give to themselves first. This is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Like, this is so many different books about this now. There's so many different books about this. If you are an unlucky person, you do not give to yourself first. There's other things you don't do too, but we can agree that if your luck it's not working out for you, you have not been given to yourself first. And I dare you to challenge that, because the universe is objective. And the moment you start giving to yourself first, you put yourself on the road to prosperity. And those people are what we call lucky. And I know you want to say blessed, but I'm talking about this idea, Tracy, that things always seem to work out with Phil. No matter how bad it gets, somehow at the end, it always works out. These are the people that you want to be around, because when Phil get lucky, you get lucky. I'm not talking about blessed, because I know God is in front of all of that, but I want you to remove yourself from that denominational wall real quick. And I need you to get that some people always just seem to be in the right place at the right time. Some people, these kind of people, I want to be around. I don't want to be around grenades. People are just going to explode on themselves. I don't want to do that. You know, y'all know these people, huh? When people want to explode on themselves, all they do is they implode and they explode. And then if you don't get caught by the blast, you get caught by their shrapnel. All of a sudden, Uncle Jerome, if I can just give me $500. That they exploded 30 miles away, but the shrapnel is calling Jerome. If you can just give me $500. Y'all know what I'm talking about, huh? We know these people. We know these people. Tracy, just bomb me out, fam. Bomb me out, fam. Just bomb me out, fam. I'm gonna get it together. Just bomb me out. I don't need to be judged. Man, just because you got Jesus don't mean everybody else got to come on. You had that conversation before. Don't act like you had. Don't make me do it. Now you had that conversation before. Just ever since you went to that church, you all different. You know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. In order to do a new thing, a new way, in order to build a RhinoLeg or whatever you're building, you have to risk it all. You know why you have to risk it all? Because you're praying for it all, Adonia. What Adonia is praying for is to have the income easily flowing to her, not at the same amount as her job. She's saying that's the minimum. And not at the same consistency as her job. She's saying that's the minimum. Adonia is asking for the blessings of whoever started her company, who risked everything. Whoever started her company was as crazy as Antonio and created security for thousands of people. And she's asking for this person's type of spirit and blessings and harvest. And the only way to get that is to become that person. And the only way Adonia gets what she desires is to risk it all. Every great teacher has told you that. Every great leader has told you that. Every great book has told you that. Every ancient text, every sacred text has told you in some way or another. I'll just use some familiar words, but they all said it some way. Those who want to gain their lives will lose it. And those who lose their lives will gain it. Jerome, did I make that up?
Oh, that's in the book.
Okay,
That's
thank
in
you
the
so
book.
much.
It's not on Facebook.
I'm not making it up. I'm not making it up. It is only those people who say, I dedicate my life to this marriage. It will work out. I dedicate my life to this company. It will work out, whatever that may be, however that may be. These are the people who actually have it work out for them. Because if you're like what Grace was describing, if you're back and forth, guess what you're planning? Back and forth. So now the wheat and the tares are growing up in your garden at the same time. And what does good harvest and bad harvest look like at the same time? Money problems. It means you got a place to stay, but you can't afford it. You got a car to drive, but the engine light on. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Jerome. Uh-oh. I can do this all day. This is not hard for me. Do this all day. When I'm done with RhinoLeg, I just moved on to the second part, which is still based on the first part. When I'm done with RhinoLeg, there's only 2 parts to this anyway. Is I looked at all you people and I said, I wonder if I could make money for them without them knowing it and without their effort. As soon as I did that, Jerome, my brain went, that's impossible. See, I didn't say my big me brain. I said the dude on Earth, Tracy, immediately went, that's impossible. How many of you got a little person in you that every time you know you're supposed to do right, evil is always present. Every time you're supposed to do right, and little you go, that's not gonna work, Tracy. If you leave that job right now, you're gonna be back with your mama. Come on now. I got 2 heads up. As soon as I said, I am going to get much better at this artificial intelligence, the first thing my little self said is, you ain't Mark Zuckerberg. You ain't Elon Musk. No, see, the same way I was transparent about Joseph is the same way I'm attempting to don you. I don't have this problem to where I need to look good. I want to be good. I don't want to look good. Anyway, as soon as I said, I said, damn little voice. As soon as I said, I'm gonna build this thing. Phil, it's the minute, as soon as I did it, I got tired. Like I didn't start it, Grace. No, it was just the mental thought of doing it exhausted me. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Like when you know you got to clean up the house, as soon as you think about it, you tired from cleaning up the house and you ain't did nothing yet. You know what I'm talking
That's it.
about? You ain't even lifted or nothing yet, but you tired
I
already.
didn't know that was the problem. But you're right. You be tired before you start.
Exactly. I'm not gonna do this right now. Let me just sit down real quick and sit down real quick because sit down real long.
And then you stare at it.
What'd you say, Dion?
Then you stare at it like
you stare at it.
I gotta
Like,
get out the way, but I don't feel like it. Like
look at them
exhausted.
pillows. I done told them kids to stop doing them pillows like that. Then you start having a meeting in your head, Jerome, about people who ain't been invited. See, I don't know why Phil always do this. Phil ain't got nothing to do with this meeting. You know it's time to have a real out loud conversation with somebody when you is mad at your head with Phil in it. You is arguing with Phil gonna say this and I'm gonna do this. And when he say it, I know him. He gonna do when you doing all that, Grace, it's time to have a conversation with Phil. It's time. You done held this problem in too long. It's time to have a conversation with Phil because I can assure you, he either don't know he doing it or he ain't doing it. One of these two is the thing. You tripping or he just blind. And as soon as you point it out, this problem will stop. Well, that's what blind spots are for. I didn't know I leave dishes in the sink. I just put them up.
I know.
You get it? I just put them up. You told me to put them up. I did what you told me to do. I didn't know you want me to put them up and wash them too.
See, that's probably
See, right? See, I said I put them up and wash them, but you want me to put them up in the cabinet. You ain't tell me that. You told me put them up, wash it, and I flipped it upside down so it wouldn't go. Well, you want me to dry it. We blind. We just blind. It just is what it is. It just is what it is. It's not something. Phil is not pissing you off because Phil woke up one morning and went, I just can't stand Grace. That's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. Of course, I use his name because Phil doesn't think like that. I want to speak something over somebody that's impossible to do, right? You get it. You get it. I looked out RhinoLeg and I said, I ain't gonna be able to do this. And then in order to build RhinoLeg, I had to build the Arlingbrook first, which was still irritating to this day. It's still irritating. And when I finally got the RhinoLeg, I was like, okay. And the whole time I'm saying to myself, this ain't gonna work. Like this. Now, I'm not telling you I'm not overriding this. I'm not giving you my other brain. If Adonia, we're removing big brain Antonio out the way real quick. I'm just telling you, this flesh and carnal man that wakes up every morning trying to make sure Antonio do not live his dreams. You know why, Grace? Because little Antonio is like my parents. Our parents want us to be safe and alive. And living your dreams ain't got nothing to do with being safe and alive.
You
So
are talking today. That is little Grace, okay? That is little Grace right there.
You are right. You are right.
Little Antonio wants me to just say, well, to just be safe. You messed up before. Just be safe. You want to be alive, right? Just be alive. And I cannot, I can't win with little Antonio doing this. Go ahead, Diana.
Yours says, I want to be safe, don't mess up. Mine says, don't mess up, just don't get it wrong. You know what? Well, the best thing to do is not do it anyway. So you know you can't mess up if you're not doing it.
I bet that's half this call. Can't mess up if you don't do it. You know who that's like, Deanna? The dude with the one talent.
Watch yourself.
Every
Oh,
time
man.
you tell that story, I'd be like, I'm a dude with one talent.
The dude with the one talent. The dude with the one talent.
And then I tell myself, I don't want to be the dude with the one talent. So let me do something about it.
Just so y'all know, that was a Roman talent. It's like $1.7 million. Yes. Yes.
Okay, look, you just okay, you help me with help me.
God gave Diana $1.7 million. She went, look, you know what? I'm not for the mess yourself.
I'm just gonna leave it in the mail. You just okay.
That
you
helped
know
me too. That helped me too. Okay.
Come on, Grace. I'm happy. I'm happy. There was someone else simultaneously help at the same time. So I ain't alone in this.
Thank you so much.
You just helped me.
It didn't help me. It just made me mad.
That sounds like you.
I mean, you
such
did
a
that
Scorpio.
Like,
she's a nice behaved Scorpio too. That don't even make no sense. This is too funny. No, I knew what I was talking about today. I knew that's why I started the call. I didn't really want to get into the technical part of it because I knew we as a collective. I've been watching. I've been listening. I've been listening. I've been watching, and I'm just paying attention. Little Antonio does not want me to be publicly embarrassed. Been there, did that since I was 6. So it's better for little Antonio to not go back in the trash can and not be proven as an imposter. So I'm trying to talk to you folks that suffer from imposter syndrome. This ain't for everybody, Adonia, but for me and you understand. It ain't for everybody. It's difficult. It is very difficult to call somebody 5 years later and say, hey, I'm gonna fly to you and finally in 5 years, keep my word. Like that's embarrassing. It is. It's embarrassing. Now, of course, Big U says, no, Antonio, you're going to do that because that's integrity. And I get that, but I'm not trying to bring in the big me. I'm trying to tell you that we're going to always fight against these principalities. Flesh and blood. The battle's not between flesh and blood, Grace, but principalities. If you go to YouTube right now, I believe my featured video on there is called The 2 U's, and this is accurate. The 2 U's. are a real thing. I watched, yep, it's right there. I'm looking at it right now. I watched yesterday LeBron James be LeBron James. And it was actually, I'm so glad Phil
Listen,
reminded me.
listen. Oh my God. They tried their best to prove you wrong. Talking about they was only gonna lose one game. They tried. They really tried yesterday. I was mad at them. Keep going.
So I predicted before this playoffs even started, like as soon as they want to play in, I told Grace, Lakers gonna win the championship, only losing one game. Only losing one game. Right. And they, I mean, went down to the had a chin to get it done. LeBron did a layup he's been doing while getting fouled for 1 billion times. That's practicing one thing over and over. My friends, I'm not trying to bother you, but I do want to disrupt your soil, to borrow from the words of Leaks and Nichols. I do want to, what if I'm right, Phil? And what if tomorrow changes all our lives? Are we the proper new skin, Jerome, to receive that? Because Dr. Joe Dispenza says the problem is we in our way. Like if any of y'all come to tomorrow's meeting with today's brain, you failed. Morning by morning, new mercies are received.
Watch it.
Therefore, every morning you wake up, Shelley, you should have a new mind. I want y'all to genuinely, do not answer out loud because I don't mean to embarrass you, but I want you to genuinely think this is April 25th. I don't know how many days it is. It's more than 100. That's more than 100. It's almost 120. That's almost half the year, Jerome. And I want y'all to honestly put a percentage. That means multiply by 100. Put a percentage of how many of these 113 days, 115 days have you genuinely gotten better mentally, intentionally each day? Because if we're not careful, don't answer out loud now. If we're not careful, we'll wake up the same us. And this is what we do, Renee. Every night, we go to sleep. And Phil and Susan know that our subconscious does something. And what's his name? Neil Donald Walsh says our soul astral planes back to God. And we forget everything, Jerome. And we do. And then we wake up. And as soon as Jerome stretched, Jerome go, I forgot I hate her. Let me bring her back in. Right? Like a whole blank slate. A whole blank slate. Oh, I was mad at Deanna last night. Bring that back in today. She got me messed up. Put that in there. Money don't grow on trees. Let me grab that one. Put that right here. I forgot I ain't got much money. Let me bring all that back in. I mean, he said I had a dream about this last night. There you go, Law. There you go. It's confirmation. Every morning we get to wake up. This is why meditation is so important. Chef Jay is finding that out. Every morning we get to wake up and start anew. Every morning. Grace called me this morning and immediately apologized. Tell me what you apologize for. What's the first thing you said to Grace?
I said, hey, Rip, I'm so sorry that I'm messing up your meditation because I know he meditate before every call.
Do you understand how consistent you have to be to when somebody call you knowing they messing up your meditation? If the phone didn't say Grace, I wouldn't even answer it.
Appreciate that so much.
You need to, well, you're welcome, but you need to be so consistent. I don't do anything without meditating. I don't do anything. I don't because you're gonna fool around, Jerome, and catch me empty. And you don't want to catch me empty. You don't want to catch me empty. You know, don't catch me empty. Because and that ain't. I'm not the only wicked one on this call. Fool around and catch one of y'all empty.
Listen, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
There's I'm always on YouTube looking for certain things, and I was looking for a meditation, And it's one that's about maybe 10, 15 minutes. And it's just nothing but thank you. And the lady's just thanking,
Most
just
powerful
thank you for
vibration in this
whatever.
world.
And she say, do this for 21 days. And and so I said, I'm consistently, this morning I'm either on day 4, day 5, can't remember, but
Good for you.
it's just, it says, thank you for this day. Thank you for the gift of life. And she keeps going for other stuff. Thank you for my bed. Thank you for this and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh Lord, okay, yes, thank you. So it's really powerful, and it really makes the day go better.
I remember, you're right. And good for you for doing that on your own. Like, nobody told you to do that. That's not something that crop up in the wins and challenges. It's good for you. Like very good for you. Like, we're real talk. Good for you. I remember one time I was feeling real bad before we didn't do the sermon. I was just on to pray. I don't know. I forgot who was preaching drum, but they asked me to pray. And it had been, I feel it had been a week. And we was watching, man, I was watching a movie last night. It was the third Riddick. And he said there's bad days and then legendary bad days. And I was like, yeah, this was one of those legendary bad days that I was going through. And they asked me to pray. And Jerome, you ever get to the point where your pain is louder than your prayers? You know what I mean? Like, you can't.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now I got to pray. And of course, I don't know I'm praying, like, if you, I don't know if y'all know how it works. You praying. Okay. Doc, you feel like praying, Doc? Okay, man. Yeah, you can't say no. You can't say, no, I shall not pray. You can't do that. That's not the way it works. It's not how it works. Be always ready. That's not how it works. I got to pray. And I just don't believe in the Lord right now. Listen, I'm sorry. Was that too much transparency?
No.
Is that,
No.
Okay. Right now, I'm not. If I think about the Lord right now, I'm gonna get mad because I shouldn't be going through this. See, I don't want to admit that y'all, but I ain't got no problem with this because I know my transparency helps people. I ain't got to sit up here in front. So I get up there, and organ playing a little organ music. And all I go is thank you. And I'm trying to talk. And my voice is choking up because it's been, I still remember what happened. It was terrible. Thank you. And somehow, some way in, I ain't said a single word, Jerome, but thank you about 12 times. And if I tell you that whole church fell out, like, I mean, I ain't said nothing but thank you because I ain't had nothing else to say. I didn't have nothing else to say. And I was thinking more, just thank you for letting me just get up at least,
Did you make yourself feel better? Because saying thank you a lot is like
it was the
saying
most
Jesus,
powerful.
saying Jesus a lot,
It's the same thing. Jesus and thank you are the same thing. It's the same vibration. Jesus is thank you wrapped up in flesh to die for your sins, Grace.
Watch it. Okay.
How is that not God saying thank you with his only begotten son? Right? I mean, you think about it. You got to think about it these ways. It's important. So yeah, you're right. Thank you is a
Antonio.
very yes, sir.
While y'all talking, I'm sitting
Trying to
here saying to
transform
myself,
lives today.
when I left New York to come back to Baltimore, and the way I left New York was crazy. And I got back here and I had about $14,000 worth of glass in my basement. But I was headed to Atlanta, and I'm sitting there with my wife saying, I left New York abruptly and I'm here, not going to Atlanta. I know I can get a job, but I can make this glass work. And she said, nope, we're not going to do that. And I'm like, no, 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 no. You know, we can. And I asked her 3 times, can I sell this glass? I believe I can make this work. She said, nope. And the 3rd time she said, either you get a job or I'm leaving you. We've been married 20 years. That came out of nowhere. Hit me right between the eyes. And I said, marriage, glass, marriage, glass. There's no comparison. I'm going to get a job. So I went and got a job. 10 years later, working this job, making good money, wrote a couple of books, selling them on the side along with my glass, and realized that if I worked full-time with my glass and my books, I could make more money than my full-time job. I think that's what I should do. So I go to my boss and I say to him, thank you so much. Appreciate all you've done for me, but I'm out here doing my books, my glass on the side, and I'm doing pretty good. As a matter of fact, I want to thank you for giving me the money to get my first set of books. And because of that, I'm getting ready to leave, but I'm not going to walk away. I'm going to give you 6 months. He said, oh, I said, yeah, give you 6 months because you got to find somebody new. And blah, blah, blah. He said, Joe, I really, really appreciate that. I'm excited. I'm feeling good. I go back home. Honey, yeah. I'm leaving my job and I'm going to go out and sell my books and glass full time. No, you're not. I said, excuse me? No, you're not. And I'm saying to myself, didn't we have this conversation 10 years ago? We did. And I said, honey, remember when I worked with those kids in New York? She said, yeah. I told those kids, go to school, get a job, but always work yourself out of a job because nobody's ever going to pay you what you're worth but you. I'm in a position now to do what I shared with those kids. I'm in a position to practice what I preached. If I don't do this, I'm a hypocrite. If I don't do this, I'm fake. If I don't do this, I'll die. I'm not asking for your permission. I'm keeping you informed. 6 months later, guess what I did? I walked away from that job. And I ended up making more money than I was doing before. Why? Because the owner of that company said, why don't you stay on as a contractor? Only come in when we need you for classes, and you can still go out and sell your books. And that's exactly what I did. And it was like, yeah. But guess what? Here's the other interesting part. What I didn't know was what was down the road, because 8 years later, everything dried up. Everything dried up. And I was struggling. But I ran into ATS too. I ran into you. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. I couldn't figure out the deal. Guess what I discovered? That like so many of us, and some of us on this call, the way we've been programmed keeps us in poverty. The way we've been programmed, we go from one trap to another. So I was out there trading time for money, and now I'm the one in charge, but I was still, if I wasn't there, that means I wasn't making any money. So it still needed me. So I still was missing a piece. Then I ran into you with your crazy self, Antonio. But again, all of this was planned. All of this was laid before me. And now I sit here and I go, oh, I didn't know that before. So me right now, Jerome, I'm sitting here saying, everything you're saying, I'm paying attention. Everything you're telling me, it's like, wait a minute, what did he just say? Ooh, wait a minute, and I can see the difference. But here's the deal. I gotta walk by faith. I can't walk by sight because I'm walking into the unknown. I'm walking into circumstances and situations that I haven't experienced before. But if I'm too afraid to do that, I'll definitely fail. But what happens if I do it and I'm successful? And that's where I'm at right now, because I know I'm where I've never been before. But I'll tell you, if I go ahead and do what I did before, I know I'm going to fail. Guess what? I'm tired of failing. So we can't have that. So as I'm sitting there listening, I'm like, damn. Antonio you are telling my story, sir. You are telling my story about that that big brain, that little brain about no, I don't have any choice in the matter. Either I move forward and take it and run with it, or I know I'm going to fail because I done been through the other phases. They don't work. The other and some of them were okay. Some of them put a couple coins in my pocket, but that's not what I want. That's not what I desire. So guess what? I done hooked my wagon to your wagon. Don't you F up, Mr. Smith. I got something for you.
That's fair. That's
Okay.
absolutely fair. Like that's yeah, that's absolutely fair.
That's what was on my heart. That's what I needed.
No, that's good. That's good. That's good. So let me close this out. Yesterday I finished Deanna, pull up the Rhino marketing in the 5-year-old talk. I don't want to go through all the details. It's going to take too long. And I want to hang up because somehow Tracy was able to stay for like an hour and a half. And good job for her. I have no idea how that happened. Yeah. She's supposed to be gone 90 minutes ago. So yeah. Yesterday I have my own, you don't know it. You'll have to read you'd have to get the email, but I'll tell you now. Like I've created my own artificial intelligence like thingy. Oh yeah. Got you, Tracy. Have a good one. I created my own artificial intelligence thingy. And it's powering everything. It's powering everything. And Jerome, I couldn't do that in December. And I had to be real stupid to get all this done. You get it? But like Sue just said, I ain't as stupid as I got in the trash can, Introducing Rhino Marketing by RhinoLeg. Rhino Marketing is a tool that helps businesses do a better job of telling people about their products and services. It uses really smart computer programs called AI and machine learning to figure out what kind of messages work best for each business. This way, more people might want to buy their stuff. The tool makes it easier for businesses to do this and saves them time. Rhino Marketing is a special tool that can help businesses like stores or restaurants do better advertising. The tool uses a type of magic called machine learning to learn about people who like to buy from the businesses. This magic helps the tool to create really good ads that are more likely to make people want to buy something. With Rhino Marketing, the business can choose the best time to show their ads, like when people are most likely to be interested, and the tool can even tell businesses how well their ads are working so they can make them even better and sell more things. Rhino Marketing is literally a helpful robot that helps businesses do advertising. It helps businesses find the people who might want to buy this stuff, then shows them ads at the right time. And of course, ads here just means you're posting your stuff. Because it's business. This way, more people might buy this stuff. Rhino Marketing is easy to use and makes things more simpler for businesses so they can focus on other important things. And with Rhino Marketing's help, the business might grow and become more successful. Rhino Marketing is a tool that helps businesses do their marketing better, special computer programming called AI, etc. Okay, so you can scroll down a little bit down. I scroll down. I'm going to get to the features. All right, here. Oh, you skipped a few of them. That's fine. Okay, maybe you didn't. There you go. Get started, reminding today, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you can skip it. Keep going now. So performance measure, A/B test, and machine learning. Keep going. All that was in there. Control group selection. Imagine you want to find out if a new type of cookie is better than the old one. You can just give a new cookie to everyone and hope they liked it. Instead, you choose a group of people to try the new cookie, a test group, and another group of people to eat the old cookie, a control group. By comparing these results, you can see if the new cookie is better or not. Rhino Marketing uses a tool to help businesses figure out which works best in their marketing campaigns. And you can stop the screen down. It's a bunch.
Wow.
It's like, I think it's 32 markers in there. Yeah, the hard stuff that people do that you don't know how. The system does it for you. The system does it for you. And as I end, I'm not trying to tell you about RhinoLeg. I'm not even trying to tell you about me. I'm just trying to tell you that when I sacrificed the quality of my life, I was able to get to where I'm writing my own artificial intelligence and my own algorithms. And that's it. And that's it. Grace, I don't know what you need to do with your life. I wish I did. If I did, I'd be a trillionaire because I would just walk around telling people, give me $100 and I'll tell you what to do. You know, I would do it. I would, absolutely would. You know, it's a lot of people on the planet. You know, I would do that. I absolutely would. I absolutely would. This is why God didn't give me that skill, Jerome. Because, you know, this is, you know, some of us can't sing because I'll be running around here, Adonia, with pedicure toes and a guitar and a sandal in my head right here, a seashell. That's why I can't sing, Phil, because I'd have been a whole different person. Man, I'd have been a whole different person. Whole different person. Whole different person. When you risk it all, burn those ships, as Jerome said, when you do that, you have no choice but to win, not because you've burned the ships, rather because God looks down and goes, there's Melissa finally doing what she was supposed to do. Let's help her out. Let us help out Melissa in our image. I know the plans I have for her.
Watch it.
You understand? I have plans to prosper her, give her hope and a future.
Yeah.
If not, you understand? That's what it is. That's what it is. So I just want to tell you, I want to say, we won't meet tomorrow, but we'll meet Thursday. We won't meet tomorrow because I'll be meeting with RhinoLeg and things. But it is my hope that all of you receive that the way you've been doing things has been a blessing for the old you. I don't think we're intelligent enough to understand. Yeah, that's
Say it again.
the way you've been doing things has been a blessing for the old you. But you ain't got old you prayers now, do you, Grace? Yeah, y'all remember when we was kids? We made a whole lot more money than we did when we was adults. I mean, it was a fraction, but that money lasted a long time, didn't it, Jerome? And you get that 5 cents, and that'll last you for a week. Today, you're like, what am I gonna do with 5 cents? Don't play with me. Part of that got something to do with inflation and stuff. But then we got more bills. Adonia didn't have 5 mortgages when she was having imaginary teacup parties and stuff, and all that stuff. It's the same principle. All of you, all of us, I'm included, need to go back to being a child. All of us. All of us. All of us need to go back to where we dreamed what we dreamed. Here's how you know if you're off track. You are off track if you can't rest. Uh-oh. If you can't, you know who you are. If you grind your teeth for no reason, if you can't rest, you know you are over or under rested. That if I sat you down on a couch and then let nobody talk to you for 5 minutes, you drift off and take a nap.
Out of there.
Okay, so you are overworked and underrested. Just so we're clear, that is most humans, at least Americans. I know this for sure. Americans, they did a study on it. It's most Americans, like 76% of them or something, whatever the study was. But if I sit you down, if I say just Sorrentino's to be with you in about 20 minutes, just sit right here, And if ain't nobody watching, then you take a little 10-minute cat nap. You got a rest problem.
Tell it my business.
Okay, you got a rest problem. All right. So you know you can't, if you can't rest, if your brain keeps telling you something, I don't know what that something may be, and you grind your teeth and you have these nervous tics, that's your soul telling you we're out of alignment. And it is not going to let you rest, Grace, until you do what you said you were going to do. It's not that you can't rest, Adonia. No. It's your soul is going, that ain't what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. Every time he come in your office, I'm going to make you real uncomfortable, Adonia. This is her soul. Not that they mistreated Adonia. No. This person that I'm speaking of comes to her office and says, Adonia, forget your dreams. Here's all my problems. Do this. And she has decided in her soul, I'm not going to do that. It's not that she don't want to help. It's just that at this point, she's about her father's business. And I mean that in a duality way. An earthly one and a heavenly one. And so now, Grace, her soul says, no, that ain't what you said. You said you're going to get your broker license. Ain't that what you said? You said you was going to take over this. You said you was going to do that. So every time that particular person or these particular life people, how many you know that people will put you in their dreams and never let you get in your own? Yeah. Adonia is going to have an allergic reaction around anybody forcing her into their dreams. Ask it yourself in privately. Ask it. I ain't gotta ask. Because your soul knows what you want to do. So Grace, Melissa, if you can't rest, your soul is out of alignment. If it's not working out for you, that's no big deal. It ain't supposed to work out for you immediately. You wouldn't appreciate it if it did, Grace. Differentiate the two. Got about 2 minutes left. Differentiate the two. If it's not working out for you, calm down, kill your ego. It is not a big deal. But if you can't rest, pay attention, pause. Because nobody, to my knowledge, maybe Susan knows somebody. I don't know nobody. Nobody has ever done anything the first time. I've never seen it. I've never seen Jerome go, you know what, I'm going to build this. Roll down a plan, and that plan worked. I've never seen it. Susan went, you know, babe, let's do humor consultants. Yeah, we should do that. Okay, let's write a definite plan and purpose. And in 1981, everything worked out just fine. I'm gonna have a hard time believing that. I'm gonna have a hard time believing that. Nothing works
Definitely
out the
didn't
first
happen
time.
that way.
not quite that way, huh?
Nope.
It'll be a one paragraph book y'all be writing then if that was the case. Didn't quite happen that way. No, it never works out the first time, and it's not supposed to, and it's not personal. But God has to be bigger than insurance, gas money. Has to be. And we have to get back to the point where we start believing in God for these huge things we used to when we were children. Now that we're adults, God just paid this light bill for me. God got to be bigger than a light bill, Jerome.
What happened, yo? What happened? 'Cause that's,
Amen.
man.
That's that we stop being kids. But what happened is the perfect place to end this call, Grace. I won't even comment on it. Y'all go and think of what happened. I don't know. But somehow we didn't stop going I'm going to be a billionaire. I'm going to be the king of America. To, if you could just make sure this tire lasts long enough for my car inspection. We've fallen off a long way. Shelly, if all we doing is praying for the water bill, what happened? What happened? Please don't take your only prayers to the boldly golden throne and let these prayers be about food. God's too big for that. You can't plan better. You can't dominate. Thank you all so much. We do appreciate you. Love you, everybody. We're doing something tonight, ain't we, Grace? It's
And the
Tuesday.
Bureau keynotes, yes.
Yes, and Deanna's speaking.
The freckled one,
The
yes.
freckled one. I guess I gotta let her off, huh? Yes. All right. Well,
Those are the
Deanna,
prettiest
off.
freckles I've ever seen.
They
Hey,
are.
Antonio.
Yes, sir.
I love looking at
Yes,
her
sir.
face.
You know, these opportunities when we have these pure keynotes, not only do you get to hear somebody and see their style and get their message, the advice we give them, you can pick it up and not even have to be doing the speech. So everybody wins on these. So if you can, schedule this in tonight and show up, because it's a win-win-win for everybody.
I agree. Grace,
Can
make
y'all
sure.
keep me in prayer for tomorrow? I'll be
Oh,
getting
yeah.
on the road in the morning when I get off, headed to Florida until next week.
Okay, yeah.
But
we're
if I
gonna
get
pray
the
for you.
links, I can still get on some calls.
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
we
I'll
do
send
that
it to
for
you.
At least
Yeah, we'll do that for you.
at least I can listen.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, we'll do that for you. Ain't no problem.
Thank you so much. And I listened to the replay last night at work from yesterday. Now, I did get a lot yesterday. I dozed off several times, but boy, that was powerful to hear the replay and get it all over again. Y'all might want to go back and listen to that again.
Thank you so much.
Oh, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
The last mentorship call today, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern,
Thank you for
11
reminding
a.m.
me. Thank you for reminding me, because I was sure about to get on my video game and forget the whole world. Okay. Okay, got you. All right, y'all. Love y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Love you more.
Love you more.